Hi everyone, Parul here, your usual host, and today I've got an exciting topic and a friend joining from US, New York, Michelle Richburg. Welcome on board, Michelle, and lovely to have you tonight or this
Thank
evening from
you.
your time.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to talk to you.
You're welcome. So Michelle got huge experience on financial field. So before we talk about the subject, Michelle gonna be introducing to us. Let me tell a bit about Michelle. She's got a long bio, but we summarized it. So I'm going to read her bio just to give you a flavor, the wealth of experience Michelle brings to this field. So stay tuned because there's a lot of information Michelle going to be sharing with us, very valuable to our lives. So who is Michelle? Michelle Richburg is a seasoned financial strategist, speaker, and a CEO of Richburg Enterprise, which is a boutique business management and financial service firm celebrating over a decade of empowering clients in music, entertainment, and sport industries to master their money, grow their wealth, and protect their legacy, which we all need. Now, with over 40 years' experience in financial management and strategy, Michelle has built a reputation for integrity, excellence, and impact, earning her repeated recognition in Billboard's top business managers list and numerous leadership and community service awards. Her journey to success began after what she calls her mark track moment. Wow. Which you'll hear a bit more from Michelle, being unexpectedly fired from her banking job in Fifth Avenue. Now, that life changing setback became the catalyst for her purpose driven mission to teach others how to build financial freedom with discipline and faith. Within months, all her former banking clients followed her into entrepreneurship, becoming the foundation for Richburg Enterprise. Michelle, also the founder of Beyond the Bag, the financial freedom blueprint, an educational platform and movement designed to help women, especially entrepreneurs, creative, and professionals, break the paycheck to paycheck cycle, shift their money mindset, and build wealth with confidence. Wow, there's a lot. Now, guided by her grandmother's example of buying 4 homes in cash on a domestic worker's salary, Michelle believes financial empowerment starts with mindset and stewardship. Her message reminds audience that wealth is not about chasing chicks or collecting bags. It's about purpose, planning, and legacy. Through her story and expertise, Michelle continued to inspire others to master the money, live with intention, and walk boldly in their God given purpose. Because when she wins, she brings others with her. Wow, wow. That is a lot. I've just read a summary. So, Michelle, as you can see, she's got so much to give. But today, we're going to be talking about a subject that is dear to Michelle Hearts. So we're talking about old school, whether old school still works, the wealth principle. So Michelle, I'm going to hand over to you to take us through why you decided to focus on wealth principle, why we need that.
So, thank you, Parag, for again the opportunity to speak to you and to speak to your audience and your community. It's not lost on me, which I've shared many, many times, that in the summer of 2024, God told me to tell the people. I was like, tell the people what? And he just said, tell the people. And then I started to get a series of downloads and visions for Beyond the Bag Financial Freedom Blueprint, right? Which is my platform and community to helping folks master their money. So the reason old school still works and the wealth principles we forgot. I was raised by my grandparents, and my grandparents were domestic workers and in the States. And what that means is that my grandmother, we have fancy names for it now, right? But my grandmother was the cook, and my grandfather was the driver, was the chauffeur. So we say driver now and we say chef. But basically, they worked as a couple for a wealthy family here in Westchester County in New York. And they managed the family's, household in terms of, again, the preparing of the food and serving dinner parties and all that. And then my grandfather was the driver for the family. So my grandmother grew up in Arkansas, New York, which is a southern state and southern state. And she only completed the ninth grade, right? Because she was sickly as a child, and she couldn't really go to school that much. And so she spent a lot of time picking cotton. So that tells you, gives you some context. And when they raised me, I went to live with them when I was 10 years old, and they wanted to give me, a better life and an opportunity. So they, and while they were working for this family, they lived in the maid's quarters of the home, right? But what my grandmother knew is during her 40 plus years of working for this family, is she would listen to their conversations at the dinner table. And they would, talk about money and talk about investing and talk about all the things, quite frankly, that we don't talk about in Black families, right? And building businesses. And she was very close with her boss, the wife. So also, when my grandfather would drive the missus to the bank, my grandmother would go. And she would, not all the time, but occasionally take my grandmother inside the bank and introduce her to the banker and tell her like what she was doing. And she'd say, Dora, you need to do this and you need to do that and you need to do this. And my grandmother took the information and ran with it. And she was very deliberate about her money. And I don't think it was an accident that my career has been in financial services, right? I see it very clearly now that it was God's plan. But so what she did was she bought 4 houses in cash on her domestic worker salary.
Wow.
No mortgage, no credit cards, debt, and she liked nice things. I'm not I don't, the platform is called Beyond the Bag, Master Your Money, because I know for a fact that we place too much emphasis on materialistic things and looking rich instead of trying to attain wealth, right? So my grandmother did like nice things, but if she didn't have the money, she didn't buy it. And she also planned for it. And she also her focus was on her goals first, right? And so the 4 homes that she bought was the one that they bought that they raised me in. Then she bought 3 homes, 2 in the South and 2 in New York, to rent to her family. And they lived there and they paid her rent. Wow. So she was very much ahead of her time, right? Because this is, in the 70s, 80s. And so now, as a financial strategist and a whole mature adult, and going through my own financial struggles after being unexpectedly fired and managing the money for high net worth individuals, it is very clear of what the steps are to sustain, to build and sustain wealth. So that's why it's a passion. And I believe, God told me to tell the people.
Amazing, amazing, Michelle. The story of your grandmother to you, how you got inspiration. It's just amazing. And I just got so much admiration what your grandmother done. And taking how she took the information and she developed herself and developed you as a
Yes.
full grown expert now. So it's just,
Yes.
yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
And she was very deliberate. Like, I still have notes of hers. I'm a little bit of a hoarder, but I just feel like there's purpose in that. But I still have notes of hers in her handwriting where she was writing down all of her assets and her certificates of deposits with the account numbers and the principal, and then how much interest she made each month on each account. And my grandmother was talking to me about money since the time I could remember, probably since I was like 5 years old. I didn't go live with them until full time until I was about 10. But even before then, I remember, spending time with them, and they would give me allowance, and she would only let me spend half of it, and I would have to save the other half. Um, my grandparents put me through college. They paid cash for my college education. I didn't have any student loans. And back then, I didn't really, you're a teenager and you're just doing your own thing. And um, you don't really see the sacrifice, the value, and the discipline that they really did to pour into me the way that they did financially and everything else. But yeah, so it definitely comes from my heart and my upbringing, and then working in corporate and banking for 30 plus years. I got the training, right, the expertise, and then being the banker for the folks that were under my watch and that under my leadership, and now managing Richburg for the last 10 and a half years. So I'm very
Amazing.
clear on what the clear path to build wealth is,
Yeah.
and the do's and the don'ts.
Amazing. I think what you mentioned about the belief, the values, the principle came from your heritage, how your grandmother raised, how they lived their life, and how they brought you up. And and you carried on with the and adding your own system that you experienced from your working life, professional life. So amazing. So tell us a bit more about the wealth principle, your tips that you're going to share.
Well, I would say that they are, there are many, but 4 tips that I'm very passionate about. And, it starts in the mind, right? As most things, it's your mindset. You really have to change your mindset, shift your mindset, be willing to learn, take in information, and then take action, right? So the
Absolutely.
first thing is, wealth is not what you make, it is what you keep. So a lot of people identify wealth as what they make. But if they are spending more than they make, they already got it wrong. And that is most people. It's structure, right? There must be structure to building wealth, long lasting wealth. And you have to have discipline. Discipline is the difference between looking rich and being wealthy. And I'm pretty sure you have many stories of that too, right? And the last one is, every dollar needs a job. Because if you don't tell your money where to go, your money will disappear.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I have a framework. So we do this inside of Richburg for the clients on a daily basis, with many different tools of how we manage their money. And we work with artists, so they are always touring. So we are managing tour budgets along with, their other business budgets, along with their personal budgets. And the fact of the matter is, I did it for myself. So another story of mine is, as you know very well, is I was fired from my dream job on a random Thursday. Right? I went to work that morning. I had a meeting with a sports agent, and we discuss him bringing his athletes to the bank under my leadership. And on my way to the meeting was a lunch meeting at the Four Seasons, and my boss said, "Oh, stop by the corporate office first. I'm going to talk to you." And so I said, okay. I pushed the time back about an hour, and I went to corporate. Well, Dr. Parole, by 2 o'clock, I was on Fifth Avenue in New York City without a job. No warning, no disciplinary issues, nothing. All I heard was, "You and your clients are no longer wanted here."
Wow.
So
That must be
that
shocking.
was my Mack truck moment. I was a single mother living in Westchester County in New York, which is not cheap, and had, all the things that a lot of us do: tuition, mortgage, car note, credit card bills, all the things. And the reason why my first and main principle is that to make folks understand that wealth isn't what you make and what you earn, right? That's not it, because I had a high paying salary. I owned my home. I had all the things. But at the end of the day, if my paycheck didn't come in 2 weeks, I was frantic. So when I was fired, I was like, oh my God, along with just the emotional part of it, of that being my dream job, of me managing money for some of the highest people in music and urban music at that time, names that we all know. You guys all know them in the UK, and they were my clients. But the bank didn't care about that. They decided that they didn't care about that. And so what I had not done, even though I was a single mother, and I always, because I do know that I have a gift of managing money. That I do know. I've known that even before now, right? So I never paid bills late, but I could always make it work. But it was always coming in. So now it's not coming in. So I'm like, what am I supposed to do? So in starting Richburg, which did not happen right away, I had, 9 months of depression, embarrassment, despair, and all those things. But when the ship finally turned around and I started Richburg Enterprises, and like I said, we just celebrated 10 years last September. So we're 10 and a half years old now. I also had to, I started to make a clear framework and do things efficiently in a framework for the clients. And then I had an aha moment. It was like, girl, you need to get your own self together. You know what I mean? You need to not be in this situation again. And that's what I did. And I'm very proud of what we've built with Richburg, with the team. I'm very proud of my individual progress. I'm very proud to say that I will not, be in this situation again, because I do not consider my income my wealth. I have a clear framework. I have discipline, and I give every dollar a job. So I've created a 6-pillar framework. That's what Beyond the Bag Financial Freedom Blueprint is about. is to get folks unstuck and not living paycheck to paycheck to build real sustainable wealth and legacy.
Amazing, Michelle, amazing. That was going to be my last question is about, so if people want to know more how you can help, what it is, and you said you got this, you created the, the blueprint. Can you tell us a little bit more about what exactly the blueprint does for people? How does it work?
So the transformation is really getting people unstuck,
Mm-hmm.
not living paycheck to paycheck, getting out of debt, changing their mindset, really getting them to map out their goals and their financial goals and the roadway to get there, right? Um, and so there are, like I said, it's a framework, it's a 6 module course, self study course that you have lifetime access to. And it has a workbook and other tools for you to, I mean, you have to do the work, right? And when you do that and you put the actionable items in place, you will transform your finances. And I'm speaking very confidently and matter of factly because, again, I did it for myself. Let's start there. And we do it every day for the clients that are on our roster. So I basically took the framework and I made it where it was palatable for the everyday person who's has, who's not mastering their money. And then we and they can do so in the course. But it also comes with the community. I have a community on school, and which you have access to me directly, and you have access to the experts that we, talk to on a regular basis. And they will come in and we will have, meetings like this where they can ask questions and really, put pen to paper and, get them to the other side.
Amazing, Michelle. Yeah. So just to add on, your financial, yeah, the blueprint you have created is open to everyone, not just US. Is
Oh,
relay
yes. And so,
is
yes.
is all online, and I mean, my this podcast is going to be watched by people from around the world. So
Okay.
my question is it accessible to everyone? If anybody want to get in touch, is that something you can help them?
Yes, it's accessible to everyone, whoever, would like to access the course. Um, I can share the link with you. I think I shared the link with you, but my website is www.richburgenterprisesllc.com, and you can access the course through the website. You can access my newsletter through the website where I give valuable, financial information. And as well as I also have it's called the Rich Guides Financial Planner and Journal that you can download from the website. And you can also get the link to be in the school community from the website.
Oh, amazing, amazing. So, Michelle, you talked about your website. If people want to get in touch with you, is it through your website or do you have other social platform link as well?
The website, and yes, I have all social platforms. I'm on Instagram at the Michelle Richburg. So that's Facebook and Instagram and Threads. I'm also on TikTok, my videos talking about money matters. And LinkedIn is Michelle Amos Richburg.
Amazing, amazing, Michelle. So, just final thoughts. If you were to leave one final thoughts with our audience, what that would be?
Um, my final thought is that generational wealth is built one generation at a time. And if you heard the story of my grandparents, which they passed down to me, which I'm doing everything in my power to leave the legacy to the younger generation in my family, as well as to my clients, because a lot of my clients are younger. And the final thought I would say is that you must get your money right, because nobody is coming to save you.
Absolutely.
Wealth loves time. So if you start where you are, but just know that wealth loves time. And once you put these habits and these disciplines in place, you're going to get addicted to it, just like you would go into the Gucci store. You're going to get addicted to seeing your net worth increase, and you're going to want to keep going.
Amazing. I love the example you used, Michelle. Well, Michelle, thank you very much for your valuable time and all the tips. To everyone, we'll be sharing Michelle's details below this video, so you can link her website. The link will be there. And also, Michelle talked about few things you can download. Also, if you want to get her blueprint, you can talk to Michelle as well, how you can get hold of the framework. So amazing, Michelle, and thank you very much for joining us. To everyone, please do subscribe to our videos, but also share our videos, because you never know, by sharing you could be helping a lot of other people. So always share, always like, and when you subscribe, you get alert for our next video as well. And we'll keep you updated. If Michelle develops something new, we'll bring it back to you. So we'll be asking Michelle to share the tips as well. So
Yes,
thank you
I
very much,
forgot to
Michelle.
mention my YouTube channel. I do have a YouTube channel as well, and it's Michelle
Okay.
Richburg. Yes.
Okay, amazing, Michelle, amazing. Yeah, we'll put all your details below your video so the people can connect with you as well. Yeah, so amazing expertise, and very inspirational stories. And when Michelle was talking about her job loss, I could reflect that immediately on me, because I got similar story how I lost my job. So I was like, yeah, that's me, that's me. Yeah. So, but you know what? There is always a door. One door shut, another door open. So you never know if you're going through challenges, financial issues, which you all need in life. Get in touch with Michelle and see how she can help you as well. So bye for now, and stay tuned for the next video.